Hello again, it's Dr. Scott at BodyInBalance. Welcome to the Half Hour to Health workshop. The odds are that we've already had a report of findings and you've probably started care in our office. Congratulations, you've taken a very important step towards your health and wellness. I've put together this workshop for two specific reasons. One is I'd like to propose a new paradigm shift for the way that you look at health and wellness that will set you up for important decisions that you'll make for the rest of your life. It holds a lot of weight, I realize. I think I can convince you that it's going to be really worthwhile. The second and probably more appealing reason that I want to do this for you is for you to understand how to get the absolute best results in our office. It's going to be a blast. We're going to have a fantastic time. I want you to sit back and enjoy. Now might be a great time to pause and grab a friend or coworker or spouse and watch this together. You'll probably get more information, wrestle around with a couple of ideas, but most importantly, just enjoy. I'm really looking forward to this. So let me go ahead and answer the first question that you have. Why in the world is Dr. Scott wearing different clothes? Well, if you haven't figured it out by now, I'm doing this Half Hour to Health workshop in concept videos, little bite-sized pieces of information, because if I throw the whole thing at you once wearing the same clothes, it just doesn't work. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that out of the way. Now, I specialize in being a healthcare facility. Now that term gets thrown around all over the place. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to define health. What is health? Oftentimes when I pose this question to some of my practice members, the answers that I get are, health is when you feel good. Health is when you're not sick. Health is, it's like this tangible da-da-da-da-da. So I appreciate those comments, but to bring more clarity to this health phenomenon, we have to define it. So as according to the World Health Organization, health is a complete physical, social, and mental well-being, and it's not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. What I appreciate the most about that definition is because it's twofold. Health is this, it's when your body's functioning well, but it's not just when you don't have symptoms. What we know about our current healthcare system is that it's actually more of a sick care system. The United States, and I'm just going to throw some statistics at you that are backed by, again, the World Health Organization, is that we consume about, or we take up about 5% of the world's population, so just a little tiny bit. We consume 80% of the world's drugs, and I don't mean street drugs, I mean medication drugs. So if we take up only a little sliver of population, but we consume this many of the world's medication, where do you think that would rank us on life expectancy? Go ahead and, think about it. Probably towards the top, you would think. Again, according to the World Health Organization, we rank 37th in life expectancy. We're right next to Cuba, okay, third world country, and so it makes you kind of wonder if the current system that we're using might not be the best one. Oh my goodness. We're definitely, as a society, especially this Western society, we're addicted to medication. Now, before I start pointing fingers, I want to let you know it's not our fault. If you turn on the television, I mean, the best invention that there is a DVR, because you can fast forward through the commercials. But if you don't, you got to watch those commercials. There's a lot of drug ads, are there not? And what typical drug ad kind of goes like this. They have this either nice-looking male or female, and Mary, and she's suffering with XYZ. She's depressed, or she's constipated, or she has blood clots or whatever. And then they introduce this doctor, and wearing the white coat, and he's talking with her, and he's introducing Purple Pill X. And as long as Mary takes Purple Pill X, she can walk in the fields and play with her friends and just do all the things that this is depicting. Well, what happens about 2/3 of the way through the commercial? Yeah, exactly. They start going through the side effects. And let's say the medication's for depression. Mary, side effects might be suicidal thoughts or more depression. And I'm looking around, and they keep listing all these side effects, and I'm looking around just kind of in my own head and thinking, are you kidding me? These side effects are through the roof. Why would anyone take this medication when the side effects are going to be worse than the problem that the patient is seeking care for? But the reality is this stuff is flying off the shelves, and so the pharmaceutical company, they've done well. They know how to advertise. They know how to hit our hot buttons. Try this trick. Watch a drug ad and mute, and it'll look nothing like what they're advertising for. It's usually like a race car or like just people talking, and you're thinking like, what in the world? It doesn't even make sense. And so the system that we have, it's a little bit flawed. Now, there are necessary times that we need to be in the sick care system. For example, if I get into a car accident tonight and one of my fingers, one of my hands, gets chopped off, I'm not going to a chiropractor. I'm not getting adjusted. It's a great thing, but it's not what I need at that point. I need to go to the hospital. I need to get sewn up. I need to get the correct drugs that are going to stop the bleed, and I need to get it taken care of. There's a couple other exceptions, but in my opinion, I don't think it's the system that we should be using for chronic illnesses. Personally speaking, I can give you some research to back it up. So we need to know when we should be a part of the sick care system, when we should be part of the healthcare system. For example, fever. Okay, so how many of you in my audience here, how many of you have ever gone camping? Raise your hands. I can't see you, but go ahead and raise your hands. It'll feel good. Raise some hands. So if you go camping and if you're looking for water, you didn't bring a water source, you're going to go and find a river. Now, would you drink that water just regular, just right out of the water bottle? Of course not. You bring it back to camp and do what? You would boil it. Why would you boil the water? Because you want to get rid of some of the bacteria and organisms that are flowing from the river, so then you can drink the water. Well, that's a pretty cool system, right? I think that's, we've got boiling water. What if we had built into our body the system that when there was bacteria introduced, it started heating it up to burn it out so that our body eventually felt better? Any takers on what I'm talking about? That's called a fever, ladies and gentlemen. The fever happens because our body is having to work overtime because of something that's introduced. It is a normal, healthy response. But what do we typically do, especially for our kids? Our kids, it breaks our hearts. I've got kids. It breaks my heart to see if my kid has a fever. We give them Tylenol, or we give them the anti-fever reducing. But if our body was supposed to have that fever to help fight off this bacteria, and we introduce a medication to combat that, what happens to our body's immune system? Does it get stronger or does it get weaker? Yeah, it gets weaker, absolutely. Because the next time that bacteria is introduced, our body is dependent on little white pill to help take down that fever. And so I'm here to tell you that there are some exceptions, but our garden variety, 90% of fevers, they should just be handled normally. Especially if it's your kid, bundle them up, love on them, give them soup, give them whatever the home remedies, take care of them. But it will strengthen their body. That's just one example that the body's natural response, it doesn't feel good. I'm the first one to admit, if I have a fever, I'm not, going and having a parade. I'm bummed, but I know my body's doing what it was supposed to do, so I want to listen to my body so that it can express itself healthy. So we're talking about this fever, we're talking about health. We need to know, where does health come from? I think we probably agree that health does not come from the bottom of a prescription pill bottle, right? That's not where health comes from. I don't take this pill to get healthy. Yeah, health comes from the same place that makes my heart beat, that makes my lungs expand, that makes my hair grow. Health comes from inside, right? Health comes from within my body. And it's a really cool thing. It's an expression it's called innate intelligence. For example, how many of you have gotten a cut on your hand? Many of us, right? A cut on your hand or any place on your body, you didn't apply a Band-Aid, you didn't apply Neosporin. Did the cut heal itself? Well, yeah, of course it did. Why did it heal itself? Because life heals itself. If you were to make that same excision, the exact same depth, the exact same instrument on a corpse, but on a dead person, would the dead person heal itself? No, it wouldn't, because life heals itself. So how many of you are familiar with the immunoglobulin cycle? Getting some strange looks now, some eyebrows raised. They're like, what did you just say? Did you just cuss at me? No, the immunoglobulin cycle. You don't know what it is. Are you kidding me? IgGs, IgEs? Okay, we got a problem then. Because if you don't know what an immunoglobulin is, parenthetical note, by the way, these are the cells that help clean up the incision site. They bring good blood in. They help clot. And they clean it all up. So if you don't know what that is, how in the heck do you know how to send how much of it to that cut, how much of it to that for it to work properly? How do you know that? You don't. Your body just kind of does it by itself, right? That's something called innate intelligence. The body knows what to do when. Now, innate intelligence is something that happened during conception. When two cells came together, they grew to 4, they grew to 8, they grew to 16. Innate intelligence was allowing you to form, you and your mom and pretty much everyone you know, to form. Now, what happened was about 3 days after conception, your innate intelligence formed a very, very important system of your body. Take a wild guess what system was formed first. It was your nervous system. Yeah, your nervous system. It's composed of your brain and your spinal cord, and it controls the rest of your body. Now, this is kind of my punchline, so if I've lost you in the last couple minutes, wake up, stretch out, here we go, the nervous system. The reason why I'm really passionate about the nervous system is because that's the system of the body that I take care of. It's the most important system of the body. We live our lives through our nervous system. Everything we see, everything we hear, everything we touch, everything we taste, everything we smell, our heartbeat, our lungs, everything is controlled by this important system. So kind of an important system to know some stuff about. So check it out. I've got Mr. Spine here. We call him Stanley in the office. And the nervous system is comprised of the brain. Kind of a big deal, right? The brain is our master control center. And the brain is so powerful that it's encased in skull. You got to do a real, good job to mess that thing up. And the brain continues down through the spinal cord. And the spinal cord runs through the spine all the way down the spine. Now, the spinal cord is very similar, just kind of use a metaphor here, it's very similar to like a freeway. Information is going back and forth through this vital pathway very, very, very fast, about 290 miles an hour. You see these little yellow things? These are your spinal nerves. And if the spinal cord is a freeway, imagine these spinal nerves like on and off ramps to very important things. The nerves up here in your neck, they control quite a few things. They control your eyes, your ears, your sinuses, your thyroid, your throat, your ears. Down here in the mid-back, the nerves control your heart, they control your lungs, they control your stomach, they control your gallbladder. Down here in the low back, the nerves control your digestive tract, your kidneys, your liver, your reproductive tract, and so on and so forth. So where these vital nerves go and control is extremely important because our health is expressed through our nerve system. So if that is optimum health, when we're functioning well, what do you suppose happens when we start tampering with this nerve system? That's what we're going to cover in just a few minutes. It's a very fancy word, especially unique to our office. It's called subluxation. A subluxation is a misalignment in the spinal bone that puts pressure on a spinal nerve and causes your nerve system to malfunction. Misalignment, irritated nerve, and the whole system malfunctions. That's more likely the definition of a subluxation. That's what it is. One of the ways that I like to explain subluxation is by talking about a circuit breaker. We all have them in our house or apartment, and the purpose of a circuit breaker is to protect us if there's too much load on a circuit from our house from blowing up, right? So let me paint you a picture. Let's say it's dinner time, and you got to have all the kids running around, and you got dinner being made, and so the lights are on, maybe the blender's going, last night's dishes are piling up, so you got the dishwasher going, the refrigerator happens to be on, obviously. If there's too much load on that circuit, what starts happening to the lights? Maybe he's turning on the garbage disposal. What starts happening to those lights? They start flickering, right? Well, if you keep putting pressure and load on that circuit, what ends up happening? Boom! Lights off, no power whatsoever. If you go back to your circuit breaker, what happened is the circuit, it tripped. So I would pose the question, is that a good thing or a bad thing? And let that sink in for a little while. Well, I think most people would say that's a good thing, because had it not tripped, then the house might have burned up, something bad could have possibly happened, and then you go down that alley. So it's a good thing, but let me throw the question back to you. We're talking about our kitchen. What would you say is going to happen if that circuit doesn't get reset? What's going to happen to the food that's sitting in the refrigerator being cooled? It's going to spoil. It's not going to have the life source that it needed to maintain the life of the fruit. So let me bring that back to the spine here. Fruit and veggies and all those sorts of things. Let me bring it back to the spine here. Subluxations are a good thing, but if they don't get re-tripped, if they don't get adjusted, if they don't get reset, then the body's nerve system never gets the ability to continue to thrive. See, it's a protective mechanism. Our body senses, whoa, there is too much load on this circuit, and so I'm going to reset myself so that that circuit doesn't blow up, essentially. But adjusting the spine allows that circuit to be restored and life continues to thrive from that body. These subluxations, I'm here to tell you the truth whether you like it or not. These subluxations, they're serious, they're degenerative in nature, and they don't always hurt. And you know, the more and more I see people on medications for chronic illnesses, it should make sense. Heart disease, diabetes, cancer, even tooth decay, those don't usually occur with symptoms, right? It's not like you go into your doctor, let's say one night your tooth is hurting. So you make an appointment with your dentist. Dentist says, hey man, I got some bad news, you got a cavity. How long do you think that cavity would have been going on before you actually started to have symptoms? Just the night before? No, it's been going on for a while. Same with heart disease. You know, typically the first signs of heart disease, unfortunately, is a heart attack. You can't typically sense when you have high blood pressure unless you're checked for it. Cancer is the same way, diabetes is the same way, subluxation usually is the same way as well. Now, if you're talking about how in the world these symptoms match up, what I'm trained to do is to locate, reduce, and correct these subluxations. So, we're going to take our hands, we're going to put them on our ears. Now you're watching the TV or the online screen, so hopefully no one's looking. But if you put your hands on your ears, you could probably still hear me, right? Maybe sounds muffled a little bit, but you can hear some words that I'm going on. This is what a subluxation is. So we have a couple options on how we want to get rid of. I could give you a pill to take to maybe try and enhance your hearing, but would that fix the problem? Everybody do this. No. We could determine that the problem is with your ears and just go ahead and cut them out, hence a surgery, unnecessary. Would that help our problem? No. What if we just removed the interference? Everyone can take their hands off their ears now. If we just remove the interference, we allow the body to self-heal and regulate, thus making it more healthy. Who'd have thought? Chiropractic is a very simple premise. It's not rocket science. So you're asking the question, great. This is what subluxations is. How in the world do we get them? Again, you're not going to like my answer. The answer is, the reason why we get subluxations is because of lifestyle stress. And there's 3 different forms of these stresses. There's physical stresses, there's chemical stresses, and there's emotional stresses. Now, physical stress is what most people think of. Hey doc, I didn't do anything over the weekend. Why am I hurting now? I got into a car accident, therefore I'm sure my spine is messed up. I have a sitting job, that's why my back hurts. Or I, bang on roofs all day long, and that makes sense. That's just one of the forms of how we can stress our body to the point, listen carefully, to the point where it can't adapt anymore, and we subluxate. That's one of them. The other 2 are one of my favorites to talk about because not everybody thinks about it this way. Chemical stresses is one of the ways that we can also get subluxated. Medications, pollutions, toxins, stuff that we put in our food, preservatives, food coloring, all of those sorts of things the body was not intended to have inside of it. When it comes to the point where it's overloading our circuit, the body goes, whoa, way too much, I need to shift out of alignment because this system, I can't handle that, and we can subluxate that from as well. If I didn't mention medication, obviously that's a chemical toxin to the body and it doesn't like that. The third, which again is my favorite, is talking about emotional stresses, and we can all relate to having too much stress. If you don't think that stress affects your health, look at someone around tax time. Are they going to be, oh, just file my taxes, I feel great, my posture's up? Or, if they haven't been doing their quarterly filings and all that sort of deal, are they going to be tense? They're going to be tense because their body has emotional stress and it relays it to the muscles of the body. Well, guess what? Our muscles are smart, but our body does not know how to pull symmetrically, so our muscles pull the spinal bones out of alignment, creating subluxation. So that's how we get it. Again, my job, which I'm going to go into in a little bit, is to reduce and correct and get to the root problem of why we're subluxating in the first place. But first thing we need to do is address, how long is it going to take to correct these subluxations? That's what I want to cover right now. So how long does it take to correct subluxation patterns? Healing takes time. How many of you in the audience here are American today? Raise your hand. Yeah. So when you come into the office, you probably wanted results yesterday. Am I saying something that resonates? Absolutely. How many of you have ever broken a bone in your body? Okay, so I've broken enough bones for the majority of you probably listening to this. And here's what I know. Going to the doctor, I've broken my arm before. Doctor says, your arm's broken, let's put it in a cast. How long is he going to tell me that it's going to take before we can even take the cast off? 8 to 12 weeks or something, somewhere in that ballpark. And as soon as I go back to the office and he takes off my cast, am I ready to start playing hockey again? Am I ready to start playing basketball or arm wrestling or horsing around? No, because the body needs to rehabilitate itself. The strength in my arm needs to be built up. I need to bring myself back up to a level where I was, hopefully, before the fracture occurred. When we're talking about subluxations, when we're talking about the body in general, there's no difference. Whatever motivated you to get into the office, more likely than not, will probably take some time to bring your body up into a certain level of wellness. Now, our office is considered a wellness office, and here's why. Because we're not only concerned with your symptoms, with your neck pain, your back pain, because what we know about the body is if we were only to take care of you to get you out of pain, we're really no different than the medical system. I'm just a natural, white, flaky aspirin, right? Because here's what we know. Once symptoms go away, and if the underlying cause is not treated, then it's just going to come back, and it's going to cause a lot of confusion, a lot of frustration. So depending on what your goals are for care in our office, we try to tailor-make them as much as possible as we can, but we know that healing takes time. So we're going to make recommendations to bring you to wherever you are. Everybody starts at different levels. Wherever you are to where you want to go, which in our opinion should be optimum wellness. And at that point of time, you're not going to like this. I realize a lot of things I'm going to say you're not going to like, but it's the truth. When we bring you up into a state of wellness, then we want to keep you there. One of the most common questions I get as a chiropractor is, I got a friend, hey, if I go to the chiropractor once, does that mean I have to go for the rest of my life? The answer is, depends. It really depends on what you want. If I were to ask that same question to a guy trying to sell me a gym membership, well, if I go into this gym and start exercising, am I going to have to keep going for the rest of my life? He's going to look at me and be like, well, you only have to go as long as you want to stay healthy. Chiropractic is no different. Once we have established a state of well-being, we still have to maintain it. Stress never goes away, right? I wish. Chiropractic does not eliminate stress in your life. We want to create avenues where we can eliminate the or underlying cause of why you got into the place where you are in the first place. We talk about ways to handle stress, whether that's prayer, whether that's meditation, a lot of relaxation we're going to go over, corrective exercises. Those are the things to get you to a place where your body's resonating and vibrating better. But the reality is we all still need to be checked on a regular basis. So exercise is probably the easiest metaphor I can give people. You only have to keep getting adjusted or getting checked for subluxation so long as you want to be healthy. And that looks like something different for every person. You're watching this video probably early on in your care, and so I'm just kind of painting a picture of what's to come in the future. It's because we're going to cross a bridge where your body gets to a point where, like, high five, Susan, Karen, Mike, Doug, whatever your name is, and fill in the blank. We've done awesome. You've done a great job sticking with your care. We're proud of you. You've put in a lot of time, and here we are. We only either have to maintain it at this point, or we only need to check you every so often. Personally, I get adjusted once a week. I will for the rest of my life. If you wrote me a check for $1 million, said, Dr. Scott, got $1 million check, the exception is you can never get adjusted ever again. I tear up your check because of the value that it brings to myself and my family. I realize that might not be you, and that's okay. We want to make sure that we're educating you along the way. How many of you have ever gotten braces on your teeth before, or your kids have had braces? You know someone who's had braces, right? The orthodontist comes in and says, you have some major misalignments with your teeth. We're going to put braces on your teeth to change the alignment of your teeth. Yes, everyone's heard of this, right? As soon as you're finished correcting the position of the teeth, or they have been corrected for you, the orthodontist gives you what? The retainer. The retainer. No one likes wearing the retainer. And what is the purpose of the retainer? The retainer is designed to hold the teeth in the position that they've now been corrected in. Chiropractic checkups in wellness care are the same thing, or to keep the spinal bones held in the position that they were corrected to in the first place. So that's my analogy on that. I have tons of metaphors. That's how I relate, so if you have any more that you want to share my way, please feel free to do so. So now that we've covered most of the bases, I want to pose a question to you. Knowing what we know, how young do you think someone can be to get checked for subluxations? Some say 5 years old, some say they got to go through puberty. In my opinion, as soon as a child has a nerve system, we should be able to check it for subluxations. Let's be honest, women out there, you've gone through labor and the birthing process is tough. It's tough on the mom, it's tough on the child. There's a lot of force coming through the birth canal. If it's not an all-natural process, if mom wasn't taking all of her supplements, staying healthy, then stress gets placed on the child. If the delivery needs to be, whether it's C-section, forceps, vacuum extraction, the amount of force that places on a child's spine is overlooked by our medical community. They're not going to come out and say, hey, you know, I think you should be checked by a chiropractor. We check people as early as 1 day old. I realize that might not be your philosophy, and that's okay, but I just wanted to let you know that children are our future. The hands of this nation are in the hands of our future. The healthier that they are from an early age, the more problems that we can prevent in the future. And with the way that our nation is shaped right now, people are starting to catch on. It's really, really exciting in my line of work because people are understanding, I feel the way that I feel, and I'm 45 years old, and I don't want that to happen to my child, so if I can prevent problems from happening in the first place, why don't I get my child in for regular chiropractic care? Not every child needs it. That's why we check them. That's, again, why we use our nerve system scans, because we can use objective measurements to check. But just to give you an idea, we take care of kids. If I had it my way, I would have a pediatric practice. Love taking care of kids, the results are awesome. And you know why? Because kids don't have those other lifestyle stresses that us adults do. They don't have mortgages. They don't have relationship conflicts. They don't have to worry about money for the most part. You know, their stress level is low, so when they're subluxated, we're able to correct them really quickly, which is really exciting. I do want to thank you for your time, for watching this. I feel very, at my core level, that you are going to understand health as a big picture. And I could get on my chiropractic soapbox pretty easy. But the reality is, if you know more about health, that it comes from the inside out, that it doesn't come from the bottom of a prescription bottle, and that you have to take personal responsibility for your health, then I've done my job. If there is someone that you know throughout thinking about this that might struggle with asthma, that might struggle with sinus problems, digestive issues, neck pain, back pain, headaches, anything where you think that their health could be improved by improving the function of your nerve system, don't wait. Have them call our office. Have them talk to me personally. We're not, you know, real up about making it difficult for someone to get checked for subluxation, but we sure would love to take care of those people. Again, thanks for your time. I hope you learned a lot. I'm looking forward to our next adjustment talking about this. Now, if you would, there's going to be a quiz, a link right below this, and you need you to take it. And it's just an accountability. You take the quiz, I actually get a text message sent to me letting me know that you took the quiz, because I want to do everything in my power to make sure that you get the results that you deserve. So thanks, have a great night or morning or whatever time it is for you. I'll see you real soon.